Welcome to the Nick and Matt Show. Bringing the player interviews you want to hear and the hot topics you want to discuss. Recording live in studio. Here's Nick and Matt.
Word up, everybody. Episode 111. That's 111. You're doing the math. I don't even know if that's math. Oh,
you know,
boy.
cool number. You want to know why?
Why? It's the same forwards and backwards.
That too, but in the first Lord of the Rings movie, they're celebrating Bilbo Baggins's 111th birthday. Pretty awesome. Pretty long life for a hobbit.
But how do they say that number?
He says, I'm celebrating my 111th birthday. He kind of like says it bad, but
what
it's
does
a
he
great
say?
movie.
Does he say it fully? 111th? Isn't it like 1D11 or something weird?
Nah, he says 111th.
Okay.
Because you would normally say 111th. You wouldn't say 111th. But he says it's my 111th birthday.
I guess I'm not as knowledgeable about that. We got Intern Ben here. Intern Ben, does your camera show up in this scene?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Look at that.
Hi.
Wonderful. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We also don't have Stat Mando lined up yet. If you were in the live chat, you know we were sitting around waiting, starting about 15 minutes late tonight because Evan is not like an IT man, or he is, but the problem is he unplugged some cords and some routers and modems, and he's replugging. And honestly, we gave up on Stat Mando. Just kidding.
They're fired.
He's fired.
We went live, but everybody, we are proud to say that we've replaced Stat Mando for at least the duration of this show with someone you may be familiar with, Hannah Macbeth. Everybody, welcome to the show, Hannah.
Hi guys.
Hello.
So you can go to 4UP and we'll just watch the blank placeholder for Evan until he shows up.
Okay.
Nice.
Aw.
He has a spot on the
on
show.
this side.
He's earned his. Yeah, that was perfect. Good job. So
We'll
tonight,
just put a catch cam of Harrison laying down, and we'll
there.
just have that as the
We
spacer.
could do that.
That would
Dude.
actually be awesome.
Just put Ben's dinosaur there.
Yeah, you know how you could something like that. You know how you can watch like eagles being born like in a nest somewhere, like a live webcam or something. Like we should put like some live cam
I
there,
can
like
get on that.
Yeah.
like I don't know, Maple Hill
The
hole or something, like live cam.
The cool ones are watching like bears catch fish in rivers. Those ones are pretty sweet because they just like a fish will jump out and it'll try to get them. It's cool. There's like Alaskan live channels.
Dude,
It's pretty lit.
it's so random, and it would really only be good for like people who are watching the video version of this, because like you could just have somebody that we know like fishing, and you just like wonder if they're ever going to catch something good, and then they do. You get excited for them, and like it's just happening while we record. That'd be pretty cool. We'll figure it out. Yeah. Send us your ideas.
I'm not much of a fishing person in general. I think it's kind of intriguing sometimes watching a bear try to catch a fish because there's also hundreds of them trying to go upriver, and so you just see them jumping all the time. But I cannot stand fishing in the sense of I could spend all day out on a boat, and if you're a good fisherman, you catch stuff. But like I could literally spend all day on a boat, catch one or two fish, and that would not be a satisfying day to me. Like to me personally, that would be a waste of my day.
You like catching fish, though?
How am I the only one that just reacted to that?
Hannah, you gotta go with it. You just gotta be smooth. You just gotta be smooth.
This really is the Nick and Matt show.
Yeah, tonight is okay.
Yeah.
We should just get it out of the way. First of all, episode
One's
111.
in chat. Spam ones in chat for the Hannah and Evan show.
I don't know what Ben's doing. He keeps trying something.
I forgot to loop it. That's why I was like, why does he keep
Novice mistake. There you go. Okay,
so last thing about fishing. I went deep sea fishing with my whole family one time, and that was actually really fun. Other than that, I do not care to fish.
I own a fishing store. Let's go.
4 people in this studio and 1 dinosaur, and no one asked.
We literally have been talking about fishing the
telling
last
us
10
about your
minutes.
Okay,
Come
so
to Ben's Cyber Shack for all your fishing needs. That's all I gotta say.
all right, so if you
Aw.
can't tell, episode 111 is pretty chill so far, and Intern Ben sitting on Nick's head too. I mean, there's a little bit of everything going on.
Sorry,
But-
I had to promote my tackle store. That's my full-time job.
Here is what I need to say: CosmicDiscGolf.com. It's worth your time to go check out, see what they've got going on there. CosmicDG.com. They do have for sale new and used discs. They're all about the cosmic vibes. Check them out. Instagram at Cosmic Disc Golf. And have a cosmic day. Wow. I will tell you what, great thing they've got going on. The initiative that he's moving towards over there at Cosmic DG is really incredible. Big plans. Check it out. Thank you, Cosmic Disc Golf. So we're going to do an event recap. Stat Mando, the T-Rex. we will
I
get
thought
to
I
that.
was Stat Mando. Okay, good.
The championship happened. And if you didn't know, Isaac Robinson put up a good, incredible performance at the championship and was able to push it all the way to a playoff. Obviously not satisfied with that, but Ricky came in and birdied hole 18 2 times during the playoff to win it. Pretty impressive there. On the FPO side, does anybody know who won over there?
I
Hannah.
do.
Hannah, what's up? You take some notes on this week or what?
Yes, Kristen Tatar took it down.
Wow.
It was awesome. Yep.
I looked up the conversion
she
of
had
dollars.
She had like a slow front nine, and then her back nine, she got birdies and pulled ahead. So it was nice. It was cool.
Yeah, Missy Gannon was like 2 strokes up on everybody through the first 7 holes and then fell off there as Kristen continued her steady pace I feel like that's her MO. Like, I feel like her thing is consistent. I feel like it was like, dude, why did I think I just kind of said Kristen? Consistent. Kristen. Okay.
Yeah, same consonants.
Anyways, this is a weird show, but I feel like
I like it.
Okay. I feel like her performance is very consistent, but not lackluster. Like, I'm trying to describe her play. Like, it's like very controlled, just right, like the amount that you need to win. Whereas, and I guess we'll get to it a little bit later, Paige Pierce. Nick, how do you describe Paige Pierce's performance? Like, how does she play disc golf compared to Kristen?
Aggressive. It's definitely flashier in the sense of you kind of see more aggressive shots from Paige. You see those, bigger hyzers that you normally don't see in the FPO division, the longer shots, the longer mid-range shots and putter shots. And then also kind of, when she's on, she's very explosive from the circle 2 green, which is something that also you don't see as often. She has a unique style of putting, and the way her jump putt is, she'll run in putts if she knows they're going in. When Kristen's a little bit more, I would say, conservative in the sense of how she throws and how she reacts to the throws too. Like, I remember there's, the video of her hitting a big putt on hole 14 or 15 at Worlds. In one of the rounds, it was, 60, 50, 60 feet, maybe even a little bit further than that. But she had a big jump putt on one of the par 5s. And so that was kind of a moment where you're like, oh, there's some more emotion with it. But for the most part, I would say Kristen is definitely more of a conservative, less aggressive player, but also not emotionless, but definitely doesn't show that, like, insane, like an insane amount compared to how Paige does.
Am I way off here? And I expect Hannah to fully tell me if I am, because if I applied my chapstick, she'll tell me she doesn't like the way I do it. So, I mean, I expect when I ask this question, she'll also tell me. So my question is, and I just had this thought, and I'm sure I could convince some of you, but does the FPO division have like the Nate Sexton? And I don't mean to compare it against like an MPO player, just the nature of Nate Sexton plays, in my mind, very similar golf to Kristen. And because that's like, there's no one in the FPO division doing that, like, she's doing it and she's performing well. And I feel like that division needed that. And I feel like that's what she's doing. She plays that style in my mind, like very planned out, not stressed out, play my game plan. And I don't know. Am I way off, Hannah?
No, I think what we're seeing in FPO is Kristen just has every stat under control. So also we're moving. I'm really sorry for our audience. Everything's a little bit of a mess because we're moving in 2 days.
I hope Nick just walks in and grabs something off your desk. He's like, I need this back.
YouTube
he just takes the tiger head.
It'll literally just, I was going to say, it would just be decoration stuff so I can actually put some stuff in my apartment. Okay. I'd be like, oh, I like that picture, or the YouTube play button.
Oh.
Yeah, but what we're seeing in FPO right now is pretty cool. Kristen just has every stat on lock. She's super consistent because she's not having to think about how her body's throwing a shot. The things that she's working on right now, or at least that she's admitted to working on this year, besides diet and exercise and just regular athlete things, is her mentality and how her off the course life is affecting her on the course. We had like the pleasure of interviewing her on my podcast, The Party, with Hannah and Christine, and she got really vulnerable about how addressing things off the course helps her just accept who she is on the course at any given moment. And I think that really helped, thinking back all the way to like Champions Cup, where she experienced like severe defeat, where she just sort of gave it away on hole 18 with all those extra putts. And then fast forward to Worlds, where she got a lead, built on that lead, and then took it down with really nobody giving her any issues. Throughout this whole year, she's had injuries. If we look at the rest of the FPO field, it's all of these women who are really talented, but they're all working on something. Like they're all working on, I don't know, a forehand, or they're working on their backhand approaches, or they're in their on their Instagram and their social media or in their interviews talking about, oh, I was so nervous, or I really had to work on my mindset, or I really need to get distance, or my putting isn't as up to par. Kristen isn't really ever saying those things. She's really just like at this level, and she's doing the tiny little percentages to get herself even higher. Whereas her competition, who could play well and outperform her, is like over here doing a lot. And from Paige, it just seems like for this year, she's not playing horrible, but she's not playing good. And so, yeah, there's been a lot of drama between the two of them.
But is that skill related, or is that literally game plan related? Because when I look at it, and I am not the professional disc golfer, part of me is like, Paige, I just want to just play like a better game plan, because you have all the skills. And I think for her, she can't pull off. Her mindset is like, no, like that's not what I want to do. That's not fun for me. That's not what the sport is. I kind of feel like she's there.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there's like going to be a breaking point where she's like, but this is my job. And I'm not saying I know all the inside scoop, but like, I'd love to see her play a game plan, maybe like Kristen, and see how that plays out.
There was a time when Kristen did an interview after Worlds where she talked about her injury and how being injured sort of helped her in a way, because she disked down at a lot of shots in order to preserve her hand, or her elbow, because it's 5 days on those big wide open Kansas courses, so it's like a lot. But she said that when in disking down, she sacrificed distance, but she was still accurate. So she was still not going OB and not, having as much trouble, whether at Jones or at the country club. Whereas Paige is always going for distance. She's always throwing like way out left and wanting it to, flex back and just getting as much distance as possible. You see Kristen will often, and Katrina as well, like she'll throw a lot more hyzer flips or things like that. So their games are very different, but it seems like Paige, and I say seems like because it's our job in media to guess, basically. Like we just make a whole career off of hypothesizing and
it's amazing
thinking that we know everything. And we can be wrong. Like Paige might be listening to this right now or watching this.
Oh,
like,
she does in her spare time. She just likes to hear what we think about her.
Yeah, but it seems to me that she's dealing with a lot more than she used to be. And Christine and I say this a lot on our show, where she used to be asking for days like this where there wasn't enough women. We want more women in disc golf, and we need everyone work hard and get up and start competing against me and giving me a run for my money and all this stuff. And now that they're here, her energy doesn't match what she's been given. And it almost seems from the outside that she's not as dominant, because it's like not something that she's investing herself in. Like you're saying, it would just take a couple conversations with players that have a different game plan than her to learn different aspects of a course. And these courses, we have to think she's been playing them for years, like years and years and years and years. So it's got to be hard to change your game plan, but you have to be willing to adapt and change, and that's going to be part of her career. And if she wants to continue to win Player of the Years or Worlds or European Open, she's going to have to do it, because once Evelina and Henna figure out like their putting stroke or their mental game in the circle, that's going to be two more women who are going to be outperforming her on the fairway. So yeah, it's just a lot. It's a lot for her to go through. I have a bit of an insight as to what these disc golfers go through because I'm married to Paul. But still, I don't know that she's looking at life this way. I don't know where she is mentally. I don't know where she's at in her career, but I do know I've talked to Kristen a lot, really good friends with her. And it just seems like the only thing Kristen's really been working on with disc golf is all just mental stuff. So when she does get more famous and her fan base explodes, she already knows who she is. So she gets announced on hole one as a one-time world champion and hits the first tree. She's like, I'm fine. And that's kind of what Nick Carl was saying. She's just kind of like mellowed out, you know? Yeah. But have you guys, like, because you guys have to pay attention to FPO and MPO, do you see similarities between players other than like Nate and Paige? Nate and Kristen? Like, are there characteristics that you see happening on both sides, especially because we have all the youth coming in? The youth.
Yeah, well, I think, for a lot of FPO to MPO comparisons, I think you kind of see, which players favor the woods more, which players favor the bomber open courses. You have Katrina Allen, who doesn't throw as far as the other players, but still was competing at the Throw Pink event. And then you have players, let's take the Evelina and Henna, who bomb the disc but don't putt as well. I think we can see that out of, let's compare Evelina to, let's say, a Garrett Gerthy, who just has incredible power with the disc, can throw it a mile, can impress people a lot. But then when it gets to the putting green, you're kind of like, oh, but is this putt going to go in? Is this going to have a chance to go in? Or how many times are we going to see these go in a sense? So you see, and Evelina's talked about it in person, on her Instagram and everything like that, to where she knows she needs to work on the Circle 1X putting stats. And I think Henna the same way. Henna at Worlds was throwing the disc so incredibly well, and you could tell that when she was also putting well, she was keeping up with Kristen the whole time. And then it's when the putting fell apart in the Circle 1X, and I think the yips and the jitters really get a hold of you to where you missed that putt that you really should have made. And then, okay, now we're seeing, I guess, inconsistency with it. I'd have to go down the list. To actually make legitimate comparisons.
How about this? And I see this in the chat, and I was actually trying to figure out, because we watched a transformation with, the dinosaur on screen.
The dinosaur just kills me.
We watched a transformation of Simon. When Simon went through an injury, he ended up changing up his gameplay a lot. Obviously, becoming a dad, a lot of things in life changed him. I'm curious, but let me just go back. Before he made his change, Simon was relevant because of his media exposure for who he is as a person. Exciting, very fun to watch, likable, great YouTube vlogs, the whole thing. But his performance, and it was better than 99.5% of the world. He's still really good, but and the same for Paige. She's better than 99.5% of the world. But I guess my point here is I feel like, and this is my speculation, that she's going to have to shift her game style like we saw Simon do. And then Simon did that. And I don't think it was coincidence that he came out and won 4 events this year. So I feel like for Paige, she did win. How many did she win? She won at least 4 events, right? She did good.
She won 3 Elite Series and 2 majors.
Okay. So, it's not that she had a bad season, but I think what we saw was when the biggest competitors were there, the biggest fields were there, that she's in the mix, but not where she wants to be. And I think we're going to have to see, and she can prove me wrong, we're going to have to see her game plan shift a little bit to be not so aggressive. That's how I'll just leave it. I guess that's what I'd say.
You know what? I was prepping for my podcast tonight, which is a big reason why I'm on the show, because I focus on FPO so I can bring a bunch of FPO flair to the show, which is fun. But I was thinking about it, and I am really nitpicky on Paige. I think it's because I became a fan of hers in 2014, 15, where she was really, really good and she was doing really well. And she was the woman to beat. It was like her and Val and Kat and Hokum. And it was like the four of them, but mostly Paige. And she was really, really fiery. And I remember that character trait as normal for her. And that's how I always knew her to be, was just very fired up and energetic and just really driven. And no one was going to take anything away from her. And it was all hers. She's going to win everything. And she was going to get the best sponsorships. And yeah, just really fired up. And then everyone, like you just said, is wanting her to change. And I've heard like Nate Sexton give commentary on it. I've heard Paul talk about it, where they say like, oh my gosh, Paige, like just lay up, like don't run this 60-foot death putt, like please, for the love. And we want you to change, Paige. We want you to change. And they're not saying it that way. They're saying we want you to change how you play the game. But that's a big personality thing, I think,
Yes.
for her. And so lately I've been nitpicky on her because I'm like, well, how is she not fired up? Because I'm so used to paying attention to athletes that when they don't do well, they're like fired up for the next season. Whether
more
it's
going
Serena
on.
Williams or Tom Brady or something. But Paige has been really casual. Like she's just been very patient, honestly. And I couldn't figure out what the character trait was. And I was like reading her, like after GMC, she had this really poor finish. And she just came out, was like, wasn't this festival awesome? Like I got to watch live
Yes.
music with my friends and and I was like, yeah, but Paige, what about 17th place? Like what happened?
Mhm.
And I started noticing, I think she is working on it. I don't think she is being lazy and just like taking her life for granted or anything. I think
Nope.
she is working on it and she's doing it with herself first. And that's
Yes. You nailed
something
it.
that I noticed today. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm horrible. Cause I've just been, for lack of a better word, just like making judgments. Like, how does she not address what we're all thinking? Like, how is she not in here? Like, every other woman or athlete in disc golf is like, didn't win. I hated that for me. On to the next one. I'm fired up. And she will say things similar to that, but she will never say, like, she'll build someone else up before she tears
Yes.
herself down.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, I need to check myself because why am I just like wanting her to tear
So
herself down all the time? Like, this
we
is nuts.
we
There's
had
a
her
lot.
on the show many times. And I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure the last time we had her on, remember, Nick? She started alluding
Mhm.
to this idea of like hating booing. Remember that? We were like, oh, you can boo like your
Yeah.
team that like you don't like. She's like, no.
Yeah.
And she's like, we got to root for. So in the other times
Mhm.
I've interviewed her, and even in that one, I think I pressed a little bit more. As someone who talks about disc golf, and I'm agreeing with you, Hannah, like I want to see that fired up, right? But I believe for Paige, and I think this is over the last couple of years, and she has a public life, so I feel comfortable talking about this in this sense. She is working on herself, and she has been doing that, and to identify who you are as a person, and not the identity of who you are in the sport. She always talks about that. There's
Mhm.
Paige Pierce, and then there's Paige. Like Paige Pierce, the disc golf athlete, and then there's Paige. And I feel like I see so much emphasis in working on herself and the way she responds after events and all that she has become a better person. No doubt.
Yeah.
I've seen it. She's learned how to handle it, but I'm afraid in some sense for her in the competitive side that it's caused her to lose this fire a little bit. And I think part of it comes from her reaction to, I'll say, fans and others. Like Kristen came over, she got a lot of love. Paige started
Yeah.
getting this little, I don't want to say brand identity crisis, but like there was starting to be this shift where I think she's like, what's happening? Like and I think she chose, I'm just going to focus on being the best person I can. And I'm not saying she
Well,
didn't work on it, her disc golf game, but I mean, like, that's where she's at. I'm just going to be the best person I can. You can't fault somebody for that.
yeah, well, to be fair, there was a lot of fans to win over after the season finally kicked off. Like Kristen is doing really well, and there's a lot of people who are ready to cheer for her because they're just interested in disc golf in a different way. It's not just for the boys anymore.
Mhm.
it's for the girls too, and they want to be fans. But I will say this about Paige, just to like, obviously we don't know, but yeah, I just think I like what you said where you're like, oh, she's kind of lost the fire. I think she's rediscovering that there are other types of fires. You can be fired up and still be comfortable with who you are. And if you watched her documentary, which you should have because it was really good, you'd get a little bit of an insight into like her upbringing and the way that she did sports when she was younger, and then her influences when she was in sports when she was younger, as opposed to now, like in disc golf, young and then coming up. It was all about intensity, and you can't always be intense in disc golf. You have to be like able to take a breath, widen your scope, and see the different lines and see the different opportunities. Like, I don't think she's ever had to play that kind of golf very as often as she is now. I think sometimes she's just been able to be like, you know what, whatever, I'm going to go out and win, and she has the skills to like do it, um, to do those risky shots and to pull it off. But now it's like you might be doing these risky shots, and so is someone else. Or you might be doing that risky shot and messing up, and 6 people jump up ahead of you. So, yeah, I think there's a lot going on, but it just makes it interesting, and I'm thankful for the things that she shares. Like, part of me wishes she would share more just because I want to know, you know?
So
But
Hannah,
that's like
we
that's not my story.
we interviewed you back in, when was it? 2000. It was 2 years ago or
15,
something. You and
something
Paul
like
were
that.
in studio here, and I think you alluded to the fact of like, when does Paul leave work, right? And he's now Paul. Like he's at
Mhm.
work, disc golf, that's his thing. When he's done with the tournament, like he's done with work, right? Like he comes home or whatever. Like that's what like people who are going out and making money do. Like I go to work, I come home or whatever. Lucky for me, I actually work out of the studio area. But I think Paige, and I saw this, we can wrap this conversation up in a minute, but I saw this when they were doing the Jomez feature with Corey Wong. She was actually asking him insightful questions about how do you balance who you are like as a person with like your career, because disc golf is everything to me and like all I know, and I don't have an off minute. And I think that's what I'm saying. I really feel like that's what she's trying to discover is like,
Yeah, could be.
I just feel like that's what I'm watching. She's a great person. I feel like if she can figure out this, like I'm going to work mindset, but I don't think she wants disc golf to be work either. I mean, it's a tough place. I used to like
Yeah.
photography. I used to like photography a lot. I still kind of do, but I turned it into a job, and I did wedding photography and everything else for 7 years. And then I was like, I don't want to pick up a camera again. And I think she's probably afraid of making it a job as well, because she loves disc golf. I've had these conversations with her. Like disc golf is like what she was born to do. I'm pretty sure she used those words with me. Like that's what she was born to do.
So, one interesting thing that's happening to a lot of these women in disc golf right now, and it happened a lot last year too, because during COVID in 2020, we had much less events, and then there wasn't really many spectators. In 2021, we came back to the same number of events and a little bit more spectators. And then by the end of the year, everything was a little bit more open, and you really saw the fans that had joined the sport come out. And in 2022, it's just exploded. I mean, European Open was huge,
It's crazy.
USDGC was huge. Like all of these, all the fans are like, they're here. But what happens is, there's a couple streamers that I follow, and one of them is Pokimane, and she recently did like a full searching of just her life, because she's been a streamer and been doing content creation and gaming for I think like 7 or 8 years now, which is a long time. And she said that lately she's realized she's needed to take a lot more breaks. And I remember like taking some gems of wisdom from this whole thing. And sending it to a couple of my friends that like are a couple of my friends that are girls that are on tour, and just being like, hey, I heard this and I think it's relevant for you, but here it is. So she was talking about how as a content creator, which you can say about disc golf too, because as an athlete in 2022, you have to brand, you have to market yourself, you have to put yourself out there. And you, by doing your job, especially on tour, or by doing your job off of the tour, which is like social media and marketing, like I said, you are putting yourself into a constant feedback loop of information about you. So let's take we can just take me for example. So if I go to a tournament and I watch Paul and he's covered and I'm walking with him, I will get messages from friends and family that can see me and they're like, "Hi, I see you." Or I will get tagged by fans who are like, "Oh, I see you." That's like a very small scale. If I go on Instagram and I post my day, I get comments, like 10 to 15 comments from people who are like, "I liked this post. I hated this post. This post was great. This post blessed me. I am happy for you. I do not like you." And it's this weird thing. And you have to think like, that's a lot for these women to be taking in. Like, a lot of these women are new. They're trying to figure things out with their game. They're not making they're not making a ton of money yet. There's a lot going on. And so I remember just finding that very interesting and how it had to do a little bit with another interview that Paige did. I think maybe it was with you guys, where she just said her and Simon had talked about it and she found that it was really hard, or maybe it was a post round interview or something like that. But she was like, it's really, really hard. The commentators make a lot of people online are like not very nice. And I feel like she's kind of realizing how much she's like criticized and just like how I can't see you guys, so I don't know. I only have one screen up, so I can't
Oh,
tell
no,
if like
you're
anybody
good.
wants
yourself.
to say
You're good.
anything.
Not kidding.
If you could put all
No,
of
you're
us
good.
up.
Hold
I'm
on.
like,
Yeah.
this isn't my show.
It
But-
was a the interview you're talking about. She did allude to it in a post press conference, and then she did talk about it here on this podcast.
And
Yeah,
we
but it
gotta
was
welcome
crazy
Evan.
because
Evan's here, so that we can keep going
Hi,
on.
Evan.
Hello.
Evan's here.
it was wild to me because she just constantly brought that up and I never understood it until I heard from another person's perspective that was like, everything you do, everything that she does, whether she's like, "Hey guys, this is my tournament recap. Hey guys, I'm on coverage," is subject to comment or criticism from someone. And if you don't check yourself and if you don't know who you are and if you're not strong enough to handle that, or you become vulnerable and you don't realize it, like that can really affect you when you're putting, when it matters. I remember one time I made all my putts and Anthony Barella was like, "You putt weird." And I missed like every putt in the next round. And he was just messing with me. He's like, "You do like this weird thing when you putt." And I thought about it every single time I went to putt. And I was like, "Yeah, I know, but that's what happens,
Hey,
right?"
Nick, can
like
you teach
that's
me
what
how
happens.
to putt right before a round?
I could do my
But-
best.
If you guys were just worshipped, if you didn't believe in the Nick and Matt show and you just worshipped what everybody thought of you,
Oh,
without
my.
needing like without being like self-driven and knowing like, no, we're gonna mess up here and there, we're gonna ramble on like I'm doing now, but we've got this, like we'll figure it out.
Mhm.
All of those things would really bother you, and I think we're seeing that in disc golf now because there's so many fans, there's so many
Everybody
people who
talks
care
about
and they
it.
want to give feedback.
Simon has talked about it. Paige, obviously, I think she's alluded to that with us on our show a few times. And yeah, I mean, it's part of it. I will say, as we wrap this up on the Paige talk, she, I think, is defaulting to the right thing as far as like, if you're going to choose one or the other, figure out how to be your best person. Absolutely.
Yeah.
She's still going to have her natural talent. I just really hope we can see that she figures out how to control it and rein it in and be that best player that she can be. And I know she wants more. She's excited for it. Okay. Let's wrap that one up. Let's do this. DG Max Wax.
Hi,
product.
Evan.
Yeah, Evan's here.
Hello.
We should say hi.
But let's talk DG Max Wax.
Yeah, I was just going to
first, then
say,
I'll hop
how's
in.
that working out for you, Evan? You got the snap stick all the time.
Yeah.
Max Wax in my bag, everybody. I use it. I keep it in the mini slot and I just use it. And I think it's perfect. It's gross, but instead of like licking your fingers or touching the dirt on the ground, it's just a product that creates the perfect amount of grip. It's not sticky. It's an enhanced, confident grip. Check it out, dgmaxwax.com. It sounds like an ad when I say it that way. I mean, it kind of is, but the product, it will sell itself if you try it out. dgmaxwax.com. It's so good. And I'd be remiss not to talk about the smell. It's wonderful.
It is.
Okay. Let's do this. To change it up a little bit, we'll go back and forth and do different types, like serious, not serious, whatever. This one's kind of fun, and none of us are prepped on this. So let's just see what comes to mind. That's how this segment's supposed to go. Pick one player who you know about now that you didn't know about at the beginning of the year. I will start.
Oh,
Chandler Kramer. Like, first one that
Yep.
pops in my mind. Chandler Kramer. Anybody else have one that pops in your mind? Like, you're like, I don't remember them. Maybe you like had a general awareness, but like you're like, I didn't really know them.
Maria Oliva.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, and she qualified into the Disc Golf Pro Tour finale. So that was sick. She like came out of nowhere and was like, haha, made it.
I know, it's incredible. Any for you, Evan or Nick?
I'm going to go a little bit more obvious, but Isaac Robinson, I heard of his name.
Mm-hmm.
I said this before, whenever I would do like average round rating stats and all that, I'd always have to mark him out in some way, do a minimum events. I mean, he only played like 2, so it's pretty easy just to say minimum 3 events.
Mhm.
But I was just like this guy, he just puts up crazy good round ratings like once a year, and that's all he plays. Like, he can't do it on a whole season. Like, I didn't know anything about his game, and here he is pushing a tour championship playoff.
I think there's kind of 2 for me, and they're a little bit tied, but it's weird because I'll say this: Gannon Burr, I knew about him, but last year I wasn't saying he was going to win any tournament. And very early on this year, there was many possibilities, very early on as well, that he could have won the tournaments. And then to finish out the way that he did this year was incredible. And then Nicolas Antilla, or Antilla, I don't know exactly how you say
Tortilla.
it, but he was someone who, played mostly overseas, but then when he did come over, especially towards the back half of the season, really kind of like commentators were saying his name a lot. You're hearing his name a lot. You're seeing his name a lot. That was someone, I think those 2 players, just the strides that Gannon took this year, I think were so incredibly impressive. And I know he won Rookie of the Year last year, but at the same time, just the strides that he took to go from Rookie of the Year to winning a major to, placing top 4 consistency wise throughout the Pro Tour Championships was incredible. And then I'll kind of start it off on the FPO side. I think I'll agree with Hannah. Maria Oliva had some incredible tournaments this year and made a great name for herself. And then even someone who has had success in years past, but now you're really hearing about her a lot, is Valerie Mandahano. Just came out this year and played incredible at some events and won some tournaments that you'd almost think, like the Portland Open, was so beyond impressive, because you don't look at Valerie as a distance player. But for her to be able to attack a course and make it her own, the consistency that she had this year. Same thing. She shot the hot round in FPO during the Pro Tour Championships. I think the first round that she had played in it, she shot better than anyone else did that tournament. So Valerie and Maria.
Okay. And the chat said Stat Mando in general. Who's Stat Mando now? Whoa, now we know.
Hey, nice.
And this is a name, and I know you said a few, Nick, that are like, well, we knew who they were. And I feel like Cat Merch, like,
Yep.
that name to me this year stood out a lot more so than any other year, where you're like, I know Cat Merch, like she hangs out with Nico or whatever, like back in the day. And it was like, now she made a name for her play. So that stands out to me. And then
Also,
go ahead.
I think Holland Hanley.
I was just about to say, someone in the chat posted that, and I was going to bring that up afterwards, but go ahead.
Like we've been paying attention to her because she won the Phoenix Ladies Open last year, or not the Phoenix Ladies Open. She
I think
won
it was Maricopa.
Was it
the Shelley
Maricopa?
Sharp. Was it Shelley Sharp or was it Maricopa?
Oh, man.
I'm
I'll look it
gonna
up
think it
real
was
quick.
Shelley
I'm going
Sharp.
to tell you right now.
I'm going to beat you to it.
Nope, Maricopa.
Dang it.
Oh, guys,
Don't
you're
even
supposed to
test
lie.
me. Don't even test me, Evan.
Anyway, she
Yeah,
won
I'm blaming
that
it on the
over
internet.
Jennifer Allen and Katrina Allen, and everyone was like, "Who the heck is this?" But this year she played amazing, and had a great finish at Worlds, and had some really great finishes this year. So it was cool.
By the way, that win over both the Allens, who aren't related, but both the Allens, was 8 months after her first PDGA tournament.
I know she's an
literally,
animal.
Literally 8 months. And I remember when that happened, we're just like, who is this random person COVID disc golfer who's now beating the world champion and Jen
She
Allen?
just
who's
lifts weights
an
for
FPO
fun, guys.
40
I don't know how to
champion.
explain her.
Was it right after Didi was like, oh, yep, we're sponsoring her? Or was she sponsored by Didi during that
No.
event? I don't remember.
No, I don't think
No,
she had a
it-
sponsor.
I think she got DD at the beginning of this year. I don't even know if it was before. I remember she played really well at LBC, and I think she picked it up right around then.
Mid-season this year.
This year,
Really?
I think so, but it definitely
Could've
wasn't
sworn it was
last year.
Gotcha.
Matt, I
almost
have
positive.
a topic.
Okay. What is it?
Oh, is that like okay?
Yeah,
like,
we're-
oh my
we
gosh,
can- we can
okay?
move
Or
on.
is it like
I-
okay?
no. We
That
can
was
go
an
to
okay with a period.
I was
Matt has
reading
some
something.
topics.
I was reading something when you said that.
He
What
has
do you
some
got?
topics he thinks is better, but
No,
he's gonna
no,
let you
no.
go.
This is something that I saw when I think it happened at the beginning of this past week, and it sort of went under the radar because I didn't really see anybody talk about it. But the PDGA has launched their own PDGA Live app.
I've got it.
It's got a scorecard, live
What?
scores, rules, aka the PDGA version of Live, Laugh, Love, scorecard, live rules. And,
Nice.
I love. They said they have a searchable rule book, which I'm really pumped for because I'm about to start calling the rules on everyone.
Let's do it.
Imagine like you're like, I've got 30 seconds. Here we go.
Yeah, they've got the rules.
They also
Yep.
have. I thought it was also funny that they highlighted one of the features that they had is dark mode.
Yes, they're
Like,
so.
Why do you
Oh,
have?
Hannah,
Why
you
do you
don't
have
even
dark
know.
mode?
Why does that feel like your grandma or
For those
grandpa
blow
being
golf
like,
rounds?
I've got
Well,
dark
everyone-
mode?
Everyone loves dark mode.
I
Like
love
every
dark
single
mode.
setting,
That's what the-
app, and
that's what the
everything like
cool
that on
kids
my
are
phone
doing,
that I
Hannah.
can have
Is that what
dark
the
mode
youth
on.
is doing,
It's
you guys?
dark mode.
I'm gonna go to
Wait,
dark mode right
Is that
now.
what the youth is up to?
Hold on, let
You're
me
on
try
dark
dark
mode?
mode. Oh,
Dark
here's
mode,
dark mode.
everything.
Here you go.
But
Put it up. Hold on, let me see. Oop, dark mode.
Oh,
not dark,
wait,
oh,
that's
dark
actually
mode.
better.
Not dark.
Wait,
it's better
cooler.
on your eyes. It uses
Yeah,
less battery
that's
power because it's less total light. It looks cooler.
Good
It's
for
what the
glow
cool
rounds.
kids do as well.
What a
Yeah,
stat
actually,
random
at-
thing to do.
At
Live,
night,
laugh, love.
at night it's easier on your eyes.
Ooh,
Like
look,
if
you
I
can't
mean I
even
don't know.
read it.
Ooh, that's
If you're on your phone
horrible.
if you're on your phone at like in bed or something, I mean you can do like the orange or blue light, whatever that special
Honey,
setting
turn
is
off
too.
the lamp.
Hannah, don't you have
No, I'm just reading the PDGA rules, honey.
blue light glasses?
Don't
But-
worry, guys. I am hip and fun.
Hold
Oh, that's a
on.
blue light
If
filter.
that's what
isn't
we're
it?
doing right now, I've got the blue light filters too.
Whoa.
Boom.
Matt, you look like
Nice.
a librarian. Or a
Did
tech.
Matt just get smarter?
Matt,
I'm pretty
You're the
smart
guy
now.
that wheels in the
Why is everything
laptop
so
cart.
clear now? This is amazing. These readers
Did you
are
hear
like
that, Hannah? You like that?
super sharp.
There you go.
I can read the chat for once, and
He
they're not.
said you wheel in the laptop cart.
That's you, Matt, the guy who wheels in the laptop cart.
I think Matt's too old to understand that reference, Ben.
Yeah, I probably know.
That's awesome.
Okay. Well,
Anyway,
those
they
are
really
actually
just
nice.
did that. So, like,
Yeah.
how does UDisc feel about that? Are they gonna have dark mode? Do they have a dark mode?
So
You
UDisc
just-
doesn't
you
do
just-
live score.
They launched dark mode earlier this year as well. Did you not
I
know
got
that?
you. I got
no, that's why I'm
It-
here for
I
your
think
show.
I think it goes to whatever setting your phone or browser's
you.
in.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I
Oh.
don't know if you can change it. You probably can. Maybe you can't. I don't really know actually. I just use whatever.
Pretty
it's on.
soon, it's gonna be like you're gonna have your own UDisc page, and if you go to someone's page, a song will play, and then it just becomes MySpace.
And we're back to MySpace.
That was the coolest thing.
That's
Like-
how our PDGA player profile should be on the PDGA.com. When
Yes.
someone clicks my name to see, oh, how's he doing at a tournament? Or how
Where
he's
are
done.
you?
Yes.
and I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, let's talk about Eagles Crossing match play for just a minute. We just paid out the Pro Tour paid out $35,000 to the winners each of the championship. That's $302,000. There is a topic to be had there, which is in disc golf right now, besides the few elite salary earners, which is a small percentage of the sport, that probably weren't that concerned with $35,000 payout, but they were there for the prize, like the title. Then you had some who were probably like, the title would be great, but man, if I can get fourth place and take home 9,000, that's pretty good too. Like happy to take the money, right? And we saw that USDGC, the money prizes. For most players, the high payouts of 20,000, 25,000, 35, like that is massive. That's like career changing for them, for most players. However, at the very top, someone like Ricky wins this, and you got to think, I mean, $35,000 is not just like chump change, but in some sense, you don't think like he's not playing for the money. But here we go. Eagles Crossing putting up a match play event, and they're giving away $100,000 to select players who have signed up for this event, and I'm sure they've went out and marketed these players. Eagle's going to be there. Who else? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Simon?
Scott Stokely.
Ricky
I
Stokely.
believe
Okay.
Brody
Dickerson.
Smith.
And the winner is guaranteed.
Brody's
Nope.
not.
Ooh, whoops.
Brody's coming to battle for Bedford.
Nice.
Oh, okay. The
Bigger
winner,
event, maybe? I'm just kidding.
The winner is
Hey.
guaranteed $50,000.
Sorry.
$50,000 to the winner. So it's not sanctioned. It's not normal stroke play. But here's what happens when you get somebody into the sport who is well off. And I've heard it described that this owner, and I apologize, I don't have his name off the top of my head. Anybody know his name? Okay. He is the guy that like will walk into like Pawn Stars, right? Like the show and be like, I've got the ruby red slippers from like Wizard of Oz, and like auction them off for like $500,000. Like he's like interesting in that way where he's so well off. He's got all these crazy things. And if you look at his property, look at like what he does eclectically towards like these tee pads, like massive, interesting structures. Let's just put it this way. The guy is rich and he's wanting to put the spotlight on his course. And he's been paying for players to come out there for the last few years. He's had it designed a certain way. And now he realizes money talks. So he's trying to get the players out there. The course looks great. I have nothing bad to say about it. I've never played it. But where are we at as a sport when now we're starting to get rich or richer people into it? Dylan Cease, remember on our show, he mentioned this? Like, hey, has anybody put up like $200,000 prize? Like, I'm sure Andrew Zimmern would be happy to do something in this ballpark. The point here is the prize purses are going to keep getting higher and the winner cash payouts are going to keep getting bigger. Like, what does this do for our sport? Is like, where are we going to get to? Is this just the beginning? Are we going to get to like $500,000 payouts or $1 million payouts? Like, any insight at all you would like to bring?
Yeah.
Any three of you?
I can
Nobody.
start.
Go, Nick. What do you got?
Yeah,
What
go
do you
for it,
think?
Nick.
I mean, I think if you're doing it professionally, adding in the money like this, and you know, saying let's say it was $500,000 to the guaranteed winner. I think outside sponsorships like a Barbasol, a Johnson, whatever one did it last year for the DGPT finale. I think companies like that kind of see a little bit more legitness. I'm kind of like legitimizing their events into having a reason to kind of put into those events as well. I think when you look at disc golf years and years ago, you had players, you know, I'm pretty sure Stat Mando tweeted about this today, but Kristen's $35,000 win was more than, what did someone say, Ken Climo's first 10 world championships combined?
Yeah, that was on the broadcast. Today was specifically at players. I can pull it up real quick. It was Steve at Statmando tweeted it, and so Statmando account retweeted it. But it is the $35,000 paycheck, is more than Paige Pierce's first 14 major wins, which was about $33,000. It was larger than Juliana Korver's 1992 until 2020 Elite Series and Major cash from all events at $28,000 and change. Elaine King's career FPO Elite Series and Major winnings, her whole entire career is at $32,000. Des Redding's career 37 Elite Series and Major wins at $31,000 and change, and Val Jenkins' first 33 Elite Series and Major wins at $34,000 and change.
So we can
Whoa,
see
what
a lot
the
of
heck?
accolades.
Yeah, so we can see the strides that disc golf is taking, and then also in the last 2 years of the Pro Tour of the outside sponsorships helping put up this money. I mean, Bushnell was a sponsorship that did not come from disc golf. They invested into disc golf. Barbasol, Johnson, a lot of outside companies. I know Tito's Vodka did something for the FPO division at I forget the name of the tournament down in Texas.
Lone Star Classic, right?
Was it Lone Star Classic? Okay, so the Lone Star
I believe
Classic.
so.
I mean,
I don't know,
so
Nick Carl, was it?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you guys. Asking Stat Mando. I could probably look it up quicker, but just kidding. So I think having that and having these bigger paydays is almost in a sense creating more of a professional outlook on disc golf. And then also for the people who don't know how, you know, and this is kind of cool. Evan brought this up in our group chat, but we had talked about this actually, Hannah, Paul, and I today with some people. Venus Williams actually commented on one of the Jomez videos, and it was the one where they were doing a trip out to Guatemala. And so I think as you're seeing this sport increase popularity-wise, professionalism, you're seeing these outside players from different sports and even just outside famous celebrities in general coming into the sport of disc golf. And I think as we see these payouts increase, we are going to get players who, you know, let's say aren't making it in the sport that they're trying to, switching over to disc golf. I mean, Holland Hanley was an athlete before she came into disc golf, and now look at the stride she's made in just less than 2 years' time, getting third place at the World Championships this year, qualifying for the Pro Tour Championships. I mean, the amount of money that we see increase in disc golf, I think, is also going to increase the eyes that we have on disc golf. I mean, honest to goodness, like Matt and I were talking about this last week, a darts tournament, the player who won, I think, worlds for the darts tournaments back in 2019, Michael Van Gerwen, made, it was like $680,000 for winning the world championships in darts. And that's throwing, you know, from 7 feet 9 inches at a dartboard all night. Well, I mean, multiple days throughout the whole thing. But we see kind of the popularity that sport has grown. And now I think disc golf, as these payouts are increasing, the popularity is also going to increase.
Yeah, because it just draws in talent, and talent is exciting.
Money
it's
talks.
Fun to watch. It's entertaining.
It talks, and advertisers, as you said, see that. Like, oh, there's people willing to put this much money into something. Like, I'm willing to put my product there because people will spend money on my product.
Well, also, really quick, like Gannon Bird just trying to graduate early. I think he's trying to graduate in January. And no one's like, you know, not that I know of, but when I had first met Paul and everything, I feel like no one was really doing that. Like, it was kind of like, yeah, maybe this whole disc golf thing will work out, like, haha. And I think a perfect example of that is AB, because Anthony Barella is super good, and he was like 5 or 6 years, or I don't know, 5 or 6 years, but like 3 or 4 years ago, graduating high school and then like thinking about college, or, you know, having to make that decision. He's like, no, I'm going to college. Like, A, I want the experience. B, I want the backup plan.
But how much money did Gannon Bird just make? Like $40,000 in 2 weeks? Like, I didn't make that.
He almost made $60,000 in 2 weeks of playing disc golf.
15 years ago, I wasn't, like, I just got married and I wasn't even, I don't think I was tapping $40,000 15 years ago. Like, I know I'm like 15 years ago, but the point is he's 17. He just made that in 2 weeks. So like, that's where it comes from. Yeah. So money's going to make it so that more players can do this as like a legitimate job. And that's going to change the sport altogether, because it's going to professionalize it in a much greater way than people going and camping. Yeah. Like, on the ground, I'll just tell you, my experience, like a showing up at MVP Open or something like that, is way different every year than what I watch on DGN every week. We don't get to see the players on DGN like camping out in the parking lots, eating their oatmeal out of a little camping bowl, and then walking to their tee time. You get to see like the professional side when the cameras go live and everything, right? But like, the sport is still at this interesting grassroots place where players are doing that. But I'm saying once the players start earning a real living, like, I don't think that will be the case, and it will just change the feeling.
So I want to say yes and no to that, because we all know that Paige makes a substantial amount of money, but she chooses to live the van life because that's a life that she loves living. Casey White was on a random podcast. I forget which one it was, but he had this great kind of saying with it where he was like, I choose to live in a van because I want to. That's what makes me happy. Now, players, let's say like Kristen or let's say Paul, who do well with the sport, they make a lot of money with it. They each have a different lifestyle and how they're living compared to other people. Like Paul is, you know, potentially let's fly to the event or take the RV, or let's get an Airbnb and we'll link up with 6 other people. Everyone kind of splits the Airbnb cost. Now you have other people who are driving in a Honda Odyssey with a bed in the back of it, and they are eating the oatmeal in the morning. But a lot of those players, like a James Conrad, with the substantial increase in pay that he got, he still chooses to live that van life.
There will be people who do that.
Exactly. He's got that nomadic lifestyle to him. And believe me, he could afford to hotel or Airbnb every single week with friends. And I think a lot of those players are starting to
You want to know what? You want to know what it is? You know, you guys want to know how we tell?
How can
the amount of animals that are on tour now. That's how you know.
Disc golf's making it by the amount of dogs that you see on the course.
True.
Oh, they got a dog too? All right.
True. No, that's a good
they
point.
Be balling.
I'll
dogs
wrap
are
that
not
up.
cheap, man.
Or we'll put a pin in that. I agree, Nick, that's part of the grassroots of disc golf. And there will always be those players who want that. But I think if you have 100 touring players who are fully professional, able to fly into events, and I'm talking like Simon status and higher, it's going to change. Like, people are going to get married. They're going to like it. Look at PGA. Like the PGA, long story short, they're making a lot of money now. They're just flying in their own private jets. But
Yeah.
I think you will start to see the sport shift. That's all I'm saying. What were you going to say, Evan?
All right, let me ask this really quick. Just really quick. Do you think
And then Evan go.
Yeah, thanks.
And then do you think van lifers, do you think it's good or bad? Like I'm curious.
I don't think it's bad, but I just feel like it doesn't allow our players to show off at the same level as they could if they were coming in using everything that was to their advantage. I'm talking like sleeping. They're going to say they love their van, but like, I don't know. It just stands out differently to me. It's a different vibe, and maybe it's a good vibe, but it's just on the ground is different at these events than what you see in the live broadcast. All right, Evan.
I wanted to flip it around and say the big money that we have in events now not only means more to the players, but it gives a lot more to the fans. So I think this big money skins match, if the winner was getting $5,000 and that's all that was on there, like who's going to care about it? Like people are going to still watch it on GK because it's fun to do and see the players, but it's not going to be a big deal. It's not going to feel like anything. But now that they can say that the winner is getting $50,000 and that you said there's over $100,000 total, that makes it a really big deal. And now like I'm tuning in. I need to know what happens. Like I may not be able to watch all of it, but I'm definitely going to find out who does well, who wins, or if there's post-produced, whatever it is. Like I'm going to want to consume it in some sense. And that's the huge difference. And that's why putting this money on, you get the big players, and I would want to see it for big players. I mean, I'm not trying to see, no offense, Nick, but like you and a few other Virginia locals playing for $100,000 may not sell as well as all the big names you listed. I'm already forgetting
Evan,
who's showing up.
I was just going to say that though, and I want to follow up with you on that. Because you were just talking about how the money does this to where like, hey, I want to watch it. It's a big deal now. But then you're like, but if it was like some randoms, I wouldn't. And some part of me goes, I'd want to watch the randoms more than I do these other players who are already making all the money. Like it could be really exciting to see Nick going for that.
And that was harsh to Nick. Like Nick obviously.
I totally get what you mean. But, don't believe me. I'm not taking offense to it.
But the other side of it is, and you can't you can try to manufacture drama and excitement. But part of me feels like the Eagles Crossing event, this guy is just rich. And he's throwing money out there. And to me, it doesn't mean anything. It's like these players are loving it because they go out there and throw and they're like, this is pretty fun and easy money. Like they love doing it. But like at the end of the day, I'm like, the dude's just paying money out for people to go play his course. And it just doesn't have that, like, what does it mean? Okay, you're winning money, but this is back to the point of the championship. Do you want to win $35,000 or do you want the title? Like I want the world title or I want the championship title or I want USDGC. Or is it literally coming down to the money? I have no problem with exhibition matches. I think they're fantastic. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's easy money. They throw the shot. They're like, thanks for that couple thousand or whatever. I don't know. I can see both sides of it. Hannah, you raised your hand so nicely.
Yeah. Would you pay Evan to watch the coverage? Because it's going to be a pay-per-view model.
No.
Would somebody pay for me to watch it?
Yes. No. Would you pay?
Would I pay to watch it?
Are you interested enough in the Eagles Crossing Big Money Skins Championship to pay the pay-per-view price to be able to watch it?
That's a great question too. I think it's
for just a skins
$14.99.
match. I don't want to say just a skins match, like I'm throwing shade, but it's not a major.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I mean, $15. I mean, you try to compare that to other things in disc golf. That's less than what USDGC costed last year. But this year,
gas maybe. Depending on where you are.
Maybe, yeah. But like comparing it to disc golf, sorry, not to discredit that, but I'm just thinking disc golf right now is like DGN is I think $12 a month now, and if you have a PDGA membership, it's half that. And I'm like, what else is costing $15 a month? Like not a lot in disc golf. Like that's a full month product for that for Netflix or something. And so $15 for an event is a little bit tough to sell when you have no clue going into it. But USDGC did that plenty of times in the past, even before Disc Golf Network, when they used to stream it themselves. And the quality, you didn't know what you were getting into, and people were skeptical. That's my point. Is people were skeptical because they didn't know the quality, they didn't know much about it. I think having GK being a familiar face is helpful. I mean, but who knows how live is going to go? It's a whole different beast. We saw Jomez have some hiccups when they tried to do live commentary for Worlds, not even live filming. It just is tough, and I think it's going to get people skeptical. I'm really curious on how well it'll sell though, because people really do love skins, especially GK skins. They like the personalities of people when they play it and how it's set up. The whole like it's one of the most popular video series in disc golf.
USDGC.
Yeah,
And now,
people love disc golf.
yeah,
USDGC was a pay-per-view in the previous years, and people were like rip roaring, how am I going to spend $20 for whatever, $15 or whatever it was. I did some rough math. I'm not going to say anything beyond that. And they were making over $100,000 at least on the coverage, okay? And the point is people will pay for it as much as they'll say they hate to. So, but there's a title to be had there. So, like, I don't blame anybody for going to pay-per-view.
That's my thing.
Yeah, I don't blame anybody like for putting stuff behind a paywall, like Eagles Crossing or anybody. Like, if people want to pay for it and they are, then they are. That's the product they want. So that's fine.
yeah. And
Go ahead, Nick.
I'm pretty sure you're not just paying for one round of skins. Everyone was kind of explaining this in our group chat of how the skins format is working for this event. Ben, can you keep it on 4UP? I like kind of talking with everyone. So I enjoy, or excuse me, I don't think it's a normal format of you're just watching 4 players play skins. Like there's a whole different format to it. And this is why I'm kind of wondering why they're calling it a skins match. Evan, what was the name of it? Can you kind of give a brief little rundown on it, please?
So from what I heard, the first 2 rounds will be.
Is that what we're calling Evan now? Are we calling Evan Big Money?
Big Daddy Money.
Ooh,
Big money.
Okay, I don't like that.
That's
moving on.
fast. That what got out of hand.
There's 96 players, and on Friday they will do a seeding round, and they'll be using the Progressive scoring system, which is based off the Stableford scoring system. So what it is there's no negative points for bogeys or worse, but a par is worth 1 point, a birdie is worth 4 points, eagles are worth 9 points, and an albatross is worth 15 points. So curious if anyone get an albatross or eagle, but I mean, eagle is definitely possible there. There's a few.
Eagles Crossing.
That's true. Then on Saturday, they'll move to a round of 48. So I think they'll just cut it in half. I'm not sure exactly how that'll work. But then they'll go to 12 groups of 4, and they'll use the Progressive scoring system again. The 12 winners of each group of winners of their card, kind of like the old Tour Championship format, will move on, plus the 4 highest non-winners, again, similar to the Tour Championship where you'd have a few wild cards make it on. So that is 16 players will move on to a second round on Saturday, which will be a skins round, which is $200 per skin, which is still a good amount for not being the main show. And the highest skin winner from each group will advance to the championship on Sunday, which will then have skins between looks like 1,000 to 2,500, and then at least 30K in skins with at least 50K going to the winner.
So intriguing format, an interesting format, and the amount of disc golf that we will get to see. I'm curious how the live is going to work with it. So I have people staying at my house this weekend. I have a big tournament going on this weekend. I would love to catch up on it as much as I can. But if this was an absolute free weekend to where all I was able to do was watch disc golf, 100% would be paying for it. Honestly, I probably am still going to pay for it because I love the GK Pro guys. We have a great partnership with my business and their business. And then also because it's something to where maybe if I catch it right, depending on how their live works, I'll be able to put it down in the garage when we're all hanging out, putting and playing darts. So $15 for me personally, and I know everyone's life is a little bit different. I'm very, very happy to support this event with $15 of mine. Like I said, that's just me personally. Now,
well, Nick, you're someone who would pay $100 to play the beast.
Dude, no, Yarvo.
Sorry.
Old school Yarva would happily pay $100. Dude, I've played $100 to play a round of golf, and I suck at golf.
We got to clip that again and make an old-fashioned new intro. That was I'm just going to tell everyone that was our intro back in the day, like way in our first episode.
That was like
first 20
episode 5. We were talking about pay-to-play courses, and I know people kind of complain about pay-to-play courses. I know Eagles Crossing, someone was saying I think is $28 on weekdays, but then $35 or $38 on weekends. I'm not really sure. The amount of time, money that guy is putting into that course, I think is it's crazy how much time and money go into that course. And then with inflation, the way that prices have gone up and everything, I mean, I run an 8-wheeler Ventrac, and if I do that all day, I'm going through 5 to 10 gallons a day sometimes with how much work that thing gets. And with the way gas prices are now, like it's a lot of money that goes into it. And so, yeah, I think course prices are going to increase for that reason. Now, some places do offer yearly memberships. The Goliath course that I currently live on will have yearly memberships available, but it will also be a pay-to-play course. So
Promo.
it kind of
I
just
was
is what it
explaining to
is.
someone because our area in Virginia doesn't have very many pay to play, and pay to play is just like you're guaranteed a certain experience when you go on the course. And some people want that, and some people don't care. And some days are different than others. That's like literally it. And then usually, if you lose your disc or something, there's a way of it's more organized. There's a way of getting it back. I know for me, I always felt safer when I was on pay to play courses because you check in, and if you're playing by yourself and you don't check out, it's like, well, at least they'll know.
Now, if someone says they don't want to pay to play a course that's just absolute garbage, doesn't have upkeeping kept to it, believe me, like I can totally understand that. But I can tell you right now, for the amount of work that Hannah's father has put into that course, makes it very, very well worth the price that you pay to play this beautiful course. And I'm just gonna, low key kind of put a personal thing out there, but Hannah filmed a video today with a bunch of us, and so that'll be dropping soon. You'll actually be able to see the course in more of a legitimate environment, which is going to be incredible. We have T-pads on the course now. They were a little slick today due to the massive amount of pouring rain we got last night. Due to the massive amount of rain that we got last night, and then the leaves, but those will all be cleared up by tournament time. Yeah.
Hold on a second. So Evan, before you were here, your stand-in dinosaur friend was here, playing your part, and
Apparently, yeah.
Intern Ben put up this graphic of a dinosaur going back and forth, and Matt and Nick just kept the same energy, like nothing was even happening. But the minute that he says do while he's trying to make a point, everyone loses their mind.
I said do too. Matt took it the childish way and said do.
What is going on?
I love it here.
Matt has kids. Like, his mind's on that. I'm not blaming him.
Okay,
wait. I have an idea. You make a 9-hole pitch and putt on Goliath called David.
Let's go,
David. All right. Well, I'm going to say this. That idea has been in the works for like 4 years now. David will be the short. David will be on the short layout. Yeah, David will be the short layout for the course.
But that's on
give that one to you for free.
Short layout on the same long layout. It just feels different.
Okay,
it's gonna play a little bit different. You know how Reds doesn't go over towards hole 11 at Maple Hill? Yeah. You don't cross that hillside of it. Yeah. That's generally how we're trying to plan it out, to where it is less walking. It's way more family friendly than what the Goliath layout is.
I wanted to bring this back a second to skins because we were talking about that. And Nick, I remember our conversation that we had off air. Pretty much, I was kind of saying that I think the skins, just the way it's kind of mapped out and the style of the disc golf, isn't the most engaging. Of course, when you watch GK Pro skins and how the players are mic'd up, like it's incredible to watch, and it's a whole experience. But having that same kind of idea with a different kind of scoring system was kind of more of my point. With Eagles Cross, and I didn't have an idea of what would be better. I had no clue. I was like, it's do something different than stroke play, and had heard of the Stapleford system before, but this new variant I really, really like, where just bogeys, you get 0 points. Who cares? If you get a triple bogey, it's the same thing as getting a single bogey. So why not just go for the good scores? Yeah. And I think these first 2 rounds will be really interesting. I'm excited to see how this goes, and I want to take it in and figure out like my schedule and how it'll work, and if those are live streamed the same as the final day is, I think I'm almost more interested in the round of 96 than the round of 48 to see how this goes.
With that scoring method, I think you're going to see a lot of really fun aggressive play styles. Let's say you're at the drop zone, you threw a bee on your drive, but you still have potential to save part of drop zone. You got this 400-foot forehand shot. Like, you're going to see people play that super aggressively. Maybe we'll catch a throw in. I think there's a lot of really cool ways, because let's say they throw it out of bounds again, whatever, they just walk away from the hole. I don't know if you can technically concede the
if you
hole, but
have-
if they get a bogey on it, then it's 0 points. You're fine.
If
You
you're-
just go to the next one now.
If you're 80 feet out and you're playing for par, you're trying to make it, because if you lay up and tap it in, or if you miss by inches and fly past it and go OB, you're getting the same score.
Mhm.
So you're going to see some aggression even in that, like saving, making big putts. Like I like it.
That's
excited
such a
to see
Simon
this.
thing to do too, because he's so good at throwing in shots. If you just watch his vlogs, he's incredible at just throwing in those 100-foot, 200-foot shots.
Yeah.
And so maybe we'll see a couple of those this weekend. I don't
Yeah.
know. I really do think the format of it, I'm curious to see, but it does sound intriguing to me.
Yeah, next time we play a round, I want to try
We can
this
do it.
out. I think it'd be fun.
Group trip to Virginia.
Okay, maybe.
Please.
That's
All
a
right.
commitment.
Come on down.
First things first. Hannah, where's your podcast available for people to listen to? We've seen the chat a few times ask.
Oh, it's available everywhere except for Apple Podcasts. And I don't know because I've submitted my request form to be on Apple Podcasts 7 times.
Okay, and then is there any way for people to
So-
watch it, or not watch it, but listen on YouTube or anything? No.
Yeah, so it'll be on DGN, I think, for the off season, and it'll be we'll be going back to video because Christine and I will be at our home, so we'll be able to do video and
Ooh, exclusive.
yeah.
Let's go.
But audio is available.
And now, for a Nick and Matt Show exclusive.
Nick knew it was coming.
I did. Right when you said ooh exclusive, I was like, damn it.
Okay, so
I love that.
we got to come up with more.
You can make it the Hannah and Matt show.
So,
Everyone remember this.
Exclusive.
Clip it. He said it.
so
Get
that
Evan out of here.
is something I wanted to give you an
you
opportunity to
can be
shout
on.
out. So that's cool.
Okay,
People
thanks.
are excited to have you on this show, but they can
Yes.
go check out more there.
Yes.
Let's do this. Nobody was warned about this, and we have a little bit more to talk about. But let's go ahead and jump into. We should have ready Judge That Disc Golf. Boom.
This is my
Judge
favorite
That
game.
Disc Golfer. The game show where you judge a disc golfer you've never met.
Oh. Tonight's guest,
Is this him?
Intern Ben, everybody.
I think I've met him.
Yes, we all have, but we do not know, and he's going to be roasted. We have to guess how he answers. Everybody, Intern Ben, I should say. Intern.
Evan has 5
The-
points.
Not
Yeah, let's go.
Oh,
This is
okay.
gonna be the most chaotic Judge That Disc Golfer I've ever seen.
I wasn't expecting this either, so I have no idea what's happening.
All right, wait, hold on 1 second. Before we start this game, Intern Ben has to write down all of his answers.
True.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
good
agree.
idea,
I don't
good
trust
True,
him.
idea.
because
I don't trust him.
this is
Yep.
the first time, and it kind of contradicts the game shows like rules where it says like judge a disc golfer we've never met. But we thought it'd be fun because everybody has been hearing about Intern Ben. He's always chiming in. They call it Benergy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool things going on with this guy. But we don't know how he's going to answer. We think we do. And I think the chat would like to play along. Those listening, driving around, or at work, play along
I
with
need
us.
the questions.
Yeah, I'm giving you to the. Here we go.
Oh, right
First of all,
before.
what's your
Oh.
name?
Yeah, you write them after he gives the
yeah,
question.
I got you.
What's your name?
My name is Benjamin Daniel Kenny.
Okay. Where are you from? Like this area?
Yeah, I live about 10 minutes from Matt Graham, so Leicester, Mass.
Okay.
Let's
are
go.
you a member of the PDGA?
Yes,
Okay.
I am. Proud
So you
member.
have a PDGA number. Is it lower than 100,000 or greater?
My rating?
100,000 can't be a rating.
I was like,
Your
oh,
PDGA number.
It is higher than 100,000.
Okay. So how long have you been playing?
April last year, so year and 6 months.
Did you
maybe?
immediately get a PDGA number?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Probably in like May. I was hooked once
Okay.
I started playing.
He runs a tackle shop and he says he's hooked. I get it. Okay. PDGA rating. What is your rating, Ben? Be proud, loud and proud.
It was 900. Now it's 893.
Darn it.
Oh man!
I went down 7 points this month. That's okay.
All right. So,
But how much are you up on the year?
Like 100 points, I'd say.
Yeah.
I don't know.
okay, you are 893 rated. Do you play tournaments?
Yes.
What's your
a
best
lot.
finish in a tournament in what division?
I've played MA2, all this year. People call me sandbagger, but that's besides the point.
So you've won AM2?
I've won AM2 twice.
On an average round.
Capital Disc Open.
On an average round at an
Bagger.
average course. Do you usually shoot under par?
I'd say average course, like
Okay, pyramids, silver, or whatever it used to be.
I'd say +2 pyramids whites +2 to -3.
So
around
okay, the question was, do you on average shoot under par? Yes or no?
No.
Half the time, yes. Half the time,
because
no.
I play a lot of Maple Hill.
Okay.
So
Well, you could play your reds and then you shoot under par all the
yeah,
time.
but I don't play.
What's Simon's favorite layout? Maybe you should
Yeah,
get
why'd
on
you
that.
say it like that?
Yeah, I
Some
don't
people
play
like
reds.
reds.
Ben thinks he's so good.
I only
that
play
he has
Way
to
too
play.
cool for reds.
I'm way
guys.
too
Yeah,
cool for Reds.
exactly.
I play blues.
Throwing putters isn't fun. Throw Halo Destroyers and nothing
To
else.
put it in perspective, even Simon himself says, like,
Yeah.
I don't play gold. It's not even fun. So it's like,
Hey, some of us used to throw destroyers on reds, okay? So why don't we just
it makes it easier.
I was saying that's all Ben
Okay.
throws.
Burns.
Do you have a favorite disc golf professional? Matteo.
Yeah.
Gannonburr.
Dude, it's totally getting perfect.
Yeah, it's
now, isn't it?
100% Gannonburg.
Yeah.
Gannonburg's
Okay.
my favorite.
What's a hobby besides disc golf that you enjoy?
fishing?
He probably hates fishing.
No,
I'm
he
not.
doesn't
I don't
fish.
fish too much. I'm just so busy with disc golfing. So, but I don't mind fishing. It's not like another
Whistling.
hobby. Whistling.
Come on, what do you like to
He's a
do?
whistler.
Making music.
Oh, making music, dude.
I
We
make
got-
music. I have like
If I pull up Spotify right now,
Yeah,
I
give
have a
out the
song
shout
with
out.
like 600,000 streams.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
And
Wait, this doesn't help me know more about your disc golf.
No,
game.
hold on. Just
I
a
used to
second.
make music.
Yes, it does. Wait till you get the
then I
question.
played disc golf a lot.
If I
so
look
now
up
play
Ben
disc
Kenny, it should pull it up, right?
No, it'll pull
There's a
someone
bassist
weird
from Incubus,
first.
which I met actually.
Okay, I found you though.
Okay.
So
Yeah, there we go. That's me.
if I do this for a second, and then we just go to, you're gonna have to go back to this game, so don't
Okay.
change the stream deck yet.
Okay.
Here he is. 7,749 monthly listeners.
Yeah.
That's actually legit. So what's your most popular song right here?
Wavy like the ocean.
It should play. Let's listen.
Yes. Exclusive.
Oh, let's listen for that.
My mama told me better. I'm really fed up.
He's a little nervous. Okay, go back to the game.
Okay.
Wavy like the ocean. Told me that she love me. I'm like, oh man.
Go back to the game.
How you gonna take
I think go back to the game scene. Sorry, everybody.
Make a spoonie with it. I'ma love you from the back where the booty hit it. I'm the cat in the hat. In
Who
my
are you
red and my black.
rapping?
And I'm back in my bag. It's a new addition. Brown sugar shorty. Watch the Instagram story like it's Dick Clinton. Ready on the
This is what I'm. Ben's the most interesting person you'll ever meet.
You ain't got no
You don't expect what you learn.
There's no issues.
Back to August is my favorite song, though.
I'm a diamond in the rough. Drink Goldilocks tea. It's a therapy.
No, but
session.
actually,
It's
your
COVID-19.
video might get flagged if you're live on YouTube and you're playing music from Spotify.
But that's
But
it's
I own
him.
it. I own it, so-
He would have to claim it.
Yeah, I own it.
Oh. Oh, I was worried for you guys.
That's okay. We just won't make money
Ben,
off this one.
you're a little rapper. That's
Yes.
sick, dude. I didn't even
Little
know.
rapper.
Little BK.
That number, Ben, is good. This is how Ben gets paid, by the way. We used to say in Jerky, but we need to send people to listen because he gets some money out
I
of
do,
the listeners.
I do.
So if you
I
wanna
haven't
support
released in like 2 years, but
But if you want
Wait,
to
Wait, are
support
$2.50
you
him,
every
the
month?
one who produced the
Wavy like the
stinger
ocean.
for exclusives for the Nick and Matt
no,
show?
man.
we should involve
you
you in
behind
doing
that?
stuff for us. That'd be sweet. You
That
can
would
mix
be cool.
both. So I knew that he did that. So that question kind of goes there. Let's see. We're getting to this point here. Okay, don't give me a number, but answer this like in your head. Or no, answer this portion
I'll
of the
write it
question.
down.
No, answer this portion of the question
Okay.
without saying a number. Have you ever measured the distance of your throws? Like
Yes.
actually measured it?
Like 6 times a day.
Yes. No, that's not.
So how did you measure it?
UDisc.
You used UDisc. Okay. That tells me a lot. So here we go. Let's get to the first
Did you
question.
use it in dark mode?
No,
the only way.
yeah, I do actually. Dark mode.
What'd you say, Nick Carl?
I said that's the only way.
All right, here
This
we
is
go.
the
First
way.
question. How far can you throw a disc? He's writing down his answer. Did you write it down? Did you think about it? Did you know what you were going to answer? Do you have a pen? Or are you just going to do it on your phone?
I'll write it down.
All right, everybody, get in the chat. What's Ben going to answer? I mean, we have an advantage here over a lot of the chat because we actually know him. Nick, you go first.
520 feet.
Dang it. I have to think how Ben's going to answer. He's going to say 495. No, okay, I'm just going to keep it. I know what he'll say, but go ahead, Hannah. You don't know him like we do.
Muted.
I'm muted.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
400 feet.
400 feet. Evan,
Oh, poor Hannah. I said 480.
480.
Okay, I'm not gonna.
So I said
keep it at that.
495. Okay, so what is the answer, Ben?
So I said 450 feet average.
He said he went with his average. He actually went with the
Ooh.
average.
I
Wow.
could definitely cook it up to
Evan got it.
Let's go.
He was close.
What did Evan say?
that's
I said 480.
Or
Intern
480?
Ben.
I mean, Hannah said 420, right?
No,
No,
she said
400.
400.
Yep, I certainly did. That's
Oh, I thought she said
exactly what I
420.
said.
Yeah, max I could probably get over 500. Even Gannon
No, I said
it.
400.
There you go.
Okay, I thought you said 420.
You keep plugging your phone
Oh,
in.
sorry, I'll unplug it.
It keeps chinging for everybody.
know.
I have all the notifications turned on. Okay. Let's see. If Ben's average
Let's bump up the point.
Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot. I'm actually.
True.
Yep.
Put some respect on my
If-
man.
Thank
On my
you.
man Evan here.
Ben's average disc golf round was described by using the names of candy, which would he choose? Hot Tamale, Rocky Road, Laffy Taffy, Mr. Goodbar, or Payday? His average round, how is he describing that with candy? Hot Tamales, Rocky Road, Laffy Taffy, Mr. Goodbar, or Payday? I go
These are going to be
first.
the names of his next single.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe.
He could do a
Ooh.
disc golf album. Hey, so you got it written down?
Yeah.
I'm going with Rocky Road. All right, Hannah,
That's-
you're up.
Yeah, I'm going with Laffy Taffy.
It's not good.
If this isn't Rocky Road, I'm gonna sue someone
Yeah.
because that's literally every round with Ben's gonna have like 7 double bogeys and like an eagle
That's
and
how I
14
said
An
it.
eagle?
birdies.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
very
I was
streaky.
gonna say Rocky Road as well.
Okay, Hannah's the odd person out because she
Did he
doesn't know
write
him
down
like
his
we do.
answer?
I did.
This
did.
is not fair to Hannah. It's not fair.
Hot tamale.
Hot
No, it's
tamale.
not. You're making
No,
it
he's
up.
not. He's memeing.
You know why I
That's
say
your
hot? No.
average round?
Hot tamale because sometimes I get hot, like I get like angry. So that's what I was
Yeah,
thinking
that's
about.
fair. I could
Matt
see-
seen
I
me.
could
we
see
played
you-
MVP
yeah.
Open Am side. I was +2 with like 5 holes to go on golds, and I got like +7. I was livid. It's like, ah.
Wait, you've played a round with Matt,
Yes,
and he's my competition, and
Yeah.
I'm supposed to judge you.
Oh, we've
This
all
is
played
so...
with him. We've recorded.
everyone's
we've
played-
recorded
yeah.
vlogs together. All of
That's
us.
what I'm saying. This isn't fair.
Oh
but
wait,
okay,
I
hot
have
tamale
watched
is
those videos.
Okay.
for
hot
sure.
tamale
We
is
should
good
have
enough.
sent
I'll
you those
accept it.
videos before we started. Okay,
No, I have
Okay,
Jeff
definitely
got hot
watched them.
tamales.
if you were ready, Ben,
Jerry, Hannah's dad got hot tamale.
he did.
Yeah,
He did. He got hot
Let's
tamale.
go.
It's on delay. She's sending him the message. Okay. If you were ready to hit the tour, which we know you're close, what brand would you choose as your main sponsor? I always have to do this disclaimer. The monetary value of the sponsorship is the same for each of these. So it's not like, oh, this one's worth more. You have to assume they're all worth the same. All right. They will all pay your entry fees enough to travel to each event and lodging. Okay. Nike, McDonald's, Red Bull, or Planet Fitness. I don't know why I'm laughing, but Ben, Nike, McDonald's, Red Bull, or Planet Fitness. What do you choose? As they're like, I'm going with them, obviously. And Hannah, you're on
Why am I first?
because we've made it to you. We
That's the
cycle around.
order.
I'm gonna say McDonald's.
If you were Simon Lizotte, you would say McDonald's. Let's see.
See, whoa, is it you?
Oh no, it's not. It's you, Evan. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. That's all good. I mean, I kind of want to say like it should be Burger King. I mean, BK, Big King, like it writes itself. But I'm gonna go with Mickey D's as well.
Dang it! Now both
Okay,
you
I
guys
like
going
that.
Mickey D's.
I like that.
I was gonna say Mickey D's, but
You can join.
you know, Ben's the kind of guy who loves camping, but knows that if he has a Planet Fitness membership, he can go to their showers and use them.
That's what Nick
So I'm gonna
does.
say Planet Fitness.
Do you remember, was there a Planet Fitness commercial that did like the average guy? Like they showed like him walking in, like Planet Fitness is for you. Like
I can pick things up and put things
I
down.
can see Ben going in with like, isn't Planet Fitness like purple too? Like everything's
Yes,
purple. Like
purple,
he could wear
yellow.
the whole purple like, I don't know. I'm just envisioning that. I'm gonna roll the dice here and say Red Bull. The way he downs these sugary drinks I bring in. And they're no Izzy, but I'm gonna say Red Bull.
I love Izzy's.
All right, what do you got, Ben?
McDonald's.
Oh man.
Yes,
go.
I did it. I got a point.
I knew I should.
Like, imagine being sponsored by McDonald's on tour. Like, that's so quirky.
That's what I'm
and-
saying.
And sick.
That's what I'm saying.
I would do it just for their breakfast. If they all still had steak, egg, and cheese bagels, I would
Like a
literally just
I
go
was
in.
gonna say
Jersey?
you gotta give like you're giving your shout outs and you're like, I gotta thank
McDonald's.
Discraft and Dry Bags and the local
McDonald's.
mom and pop shop. And I gotta shout out McDonald's. Thank you so much
Yes.
for
How cool is that?
They're like serving millions and millions and billions of burgers,
serving
everybody.
millions daily.
So like, interesting. McDonald's, like, yeah, they'll pay for. You just get to wear like the big M logo.
yeah,
on
like
your
how
back.
cool is that? Nike. I can
Their
wear
merch.
Nike every day of my life.
You got to wear like
McDonald's.
red outfits with like the Ronald McDonald
I gotta
shoes.
play with clown shoes, basically. Is what we're saying.
Okay, we got to do a round like that.
We should-
You got to go out as Ronald
Clown shoes
McDonald.
round.
Oh
For
my
Halloween.
goodness.
You can be Ronald McDonald. Okay, we got off track. Here we go. If you were to choose unfavorable weather for a tournament round, what do you choose?
It's not one of them.
Evan just starts cracking.
I don't get it. I don't even know what he's cracking up about.
Me neither.
Okay, it's gonna be Nick who goes first. Are you gonna choose?
Are you gonna chime in?
Rain,
No, I think
snow, or
Evan goes
wind?
first.
No, it's me, right?
I'm all lost.
Yeah, it's
I'm-
Evan.
Wait, what are the options?
Rain, wind, or snow. You have to choose unfavorable weather for a tournament round. A tournament round, so you have to play well. Rain, snow, or
What
wind.
I would
And these are
want,
all. Yeah. Choose which. Yeah, choose which one you want.
All right.
And this
I'm gonna let him
rain is really
answer
rainy,
before.
snow is really snow, wind is really windy. Like, which one do you choose to go with? Right. Evan, now I know why you're laughing.
I don't know why you guys are laughing. What?
Okay, Evan.
Are you good? Are you settled?
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna pick the one where you just don't have to change what you're packing. for snow, you got to make sure you're wearing boots and gloves and a warm jacket. Rain, you got to have a rain jacket, towels, umbrella. If you're playing in the wind, you're gonna throw your same overstable discs as your normal round. Nothing's gonna feel different. So I'm going wind.
How many more questions do we have?
There's going to be 1, 2. There'll be 2, and if we need a tiebreaker.
All right, I'll go wind.
I'm going wind as well.
I'm gonna go wind.
I feel like we're
Good
like
one, Hannah.
Planet. Well, what is it? Captain Planet? I choose wind.
Rain.
No,
No, that's wrong. You're
Let's tell the story.
I
We're
played
going
in the
out.
rain today.
We're going out for a round like a month ago, and we're like all set to go. Me, Evan, and Ben. Like, we're going here, and then all of a sudden we're like, "Oh, it's starting to rain." He's like, "It's raining." He's like, "Bro, I think we need to shift the course. I think we need to go somewhere where the rain won't get us wet."
we're gonna play Maple Hill, and it's a little
Yeah.
like Maple Hill's kind of the open course
Okay,
in New
but
England.
that's also why I
And
picked
he's like,
rain.
"Yes, but you go. I don't have an umbrella. I don't have a rain."
So you wanted to
jacket."
play pyramids because it was
Yeah,
more
'cause
wooded,
the
so that way
rain
the
doesn't
trees
get
would
to you in the
cover.
woods.
And I said,
Easy
"Ben,
money.
have you ever played in the rain?" And you said, like, once. Ever.
He shows up. He doesn't have any towels.
know.
Doesn't have an umbrella.
It's
Matt
true.
luckily has an extra umbrella in
It's
his car and
true.
some towels.
Okay. He chose the
Oh.
rain, though. We'll remember that.
We played in the rain,
Yep.
so why wouldn't I?
Okay.
I'll remember it. Next time it's rainy, we're getting out. You
No,
can't say
I
no.
played today in the rain.
going out.
pouring rain, and I didn't get
It was
wet.
drizzly at
I was
best.
on the woods.
Okay, here we go. How many putts for Ben go in from circle's edge if you gave him a stack of 10 putters? All things the same, like no wind and all that stuff, not elevation. You're like circle's
No
edge, no
rain.
jump putts. Standstills from circle's edge, 10 putters. How many go in? I'm answering. He's gonna.
No, it's mine.
What? This time it's him.
Yeah, it's Nick
How
Carl.
did I
Yeah.
get one
Come on,
ahead
guys,
the whole
tie it up.
time?
Let's go.
Do you have it written down?
Yes.
5.
Is it what he wants to answer or what he is
No,
going to answer?
this is a genuine answer from my heart, from my soul.
7.
3.
Oh,
That is a soulful answer there.
That
That is
hurts.
soul. That is soul. Evan.
She watched a video of you putting a Tully.
Yeah.
that was
I agree with her.
I did a dagger in the heart of your guys' team on 18. What do you mean?
Okay. Hannah said
Oh, that
3.
was a good putt. That was the edge of circle. I'm gonna go 6. Split the difference between y'all.
What's the answer? Intern Ben.
Dude, why is Evan so good at this game?
6
Let's
of
go.
10.
Oh my gosh. Evan is cracked.
Honestly,
Evan
my
literally
putting
plays the most
insane.
disc golf
Yeah.
with Ben.
They hate
I've
you.
played a lot with
It's
Ben.
true.
Yeah, he literally.
But-
why is he so good at this? Oh, he knows him very, very well.
But that's impressive because if I was to play this game
It
with
is.
Nick, I think I'd have a hard time answering them too.
I
We'll
mean,
do it one day.
Yeah,
To be
Guys,
fair-
I only have time for one more.
One more question.
You guys kind of helped me out because I couldn't choose 5. I couldn't choose 7. He's not that good. He's not going 8. I thought
Dude,
about going
honestly, My
under.
stroke's been
but-
getting better though. I hit a good amount. Of
If
putts
you
today.
were to
Yeah.
get a disc golf tattoo, which would it be? We all know how this is played. Single basket, doink
Mhm.
putt,
Hannah knows him.
Tasmanian
I do,
devil.
I do, I
Does
know.
Ben know?
I-
360
No.
Tasmanian devil 360. A disc golf phrase like grip it and rip it, or death putt, like a disc golf phrase. Tasmanian devil, doink putt, or a single basket. He's thinking hard.
Now it's
here.
your turn, Matt.
Now finally we've made it to me. And now I'm gonna take a long time to answer just to annoy the chat. I'm gonna say it just seems to me that he writes these lyrics to songs. I'm gonna go with phrase. Hannah.
Basket.
Like single basket, just standalone. Okay.
Yeah, but I think it'd be weirder than that.
Yeah, that's why like the doink putt seems right, but at the same time, he doesn't want a doink putt tattoo.
Yeah.
Evan.
It's gonna be a phrase, but it might not even be totally disc golf related. But it might just be like Felipe.
That's such an inside joke. No one's gonna understand that.
Could it be dump and run?
I'm gonna go phrase now.
I just literally made a joke, Nick. I have no clue what it's gonna be.
It's because I try not to swear, so instead of the word, I go Felipe.
All right, Gerald Croak says the devil, which is Tasmanian.
Dang.
All right, Nick, you said phrase. All right, give it
Yeah.
to us, Ben.
Yeah.
Phrase.
Oh wow.
Oh man.
I have a phrase tatted on my thigh already. I'm not a big tat guy. I think they look kind of ugly. So
He hides it where
Oh, you
the
have a
sun don't
tattoo?
shine.
yeah. You want to see it?
His thigh. Okay, I was like,
Leap of faith, baby.
You just
okay.
it's just a scenario.
No, actually, you know
I
what's
think
funny?
intern Ben needs his own show.
I-
But guys, I really do actually have to leave.
Hannah, just
Hannah,
before
thank
you
you
leave, thank
very,
you for
very much.
coming. We actually told him before the show we can give him a chance to do the show Intern Ben and upload it. That's
I
fine.
know.
Okay.
Do you guys want to see that? Intervention.
All right, peace out, Hannah. Thanks for coming. We had a good time.
See you tomorrow.
Get out of
Bye,
this game
guys.
format.
Okay.
Peace.
3 up.
I just want to say
3 up.
something
There
real
we go.
quick. I also have another tat. It's a cross. It's literally just like a line, like zzz, zzz, and it was done by Wes Roderick, James's or Nick's cousin. There we
Wow,
go.
there's a connection.
Nice.
Okay, as we get to the wrap up point, general reactions. We could get really deep on this, but we don't need to. Nevins. My general reaction on Nevins. I don't love the fact, again, that like it was a course that nobody was prepared for. Like they would go and practice it, but it's so brand new. And I know a course has to start there at some point on a tour, but I didn't love that. We had talked about that, how it got put in place because another course fell through the whole thing. But the fact that it wasn't the best spectator friendly or maybe the most video camera footage friendly, like watching it was like hard to tell. You don't know the course, but I will say I liked the course because every hole could have significant swings. And from a fan's perspective, seeing someone play for the final match of the year, knowing that it could change in any given hole all the way down to the last hole, made it exciting every round in that format. Everyone had to go hard. I liked it for that. What do you think, Nick or Evan?
Go ahead, Nick, if
I
you want.
actually go ahead, Evan. Are you ready?
No, I was gonna say you go ahead.
Oh, all right.
You
Look
seem
at us
ready.
being
After you.
kind to each other. Yeah,
Yeah.
after you. No, no, no.
Oh,
after you.
no.
No, I actually, so on the coverage, there were some holes that I thought, like there was a couple of the par threes that I thought were actually pretty dinky that you wouldn't normally see too much on a pro tour level course. But I'm all for the woods. I love watching woods golf. I know sometimes it is harder to watch the woods golf on cameras because you have one camera angle from behind the tee pad, so you're seeing the disc fly forward, kind of away from you, but then all of a sudden you switch to halfway down the fairway, and now it's coming at you from a different angle. You're kind of like, okay, but where am I on this par 4 or par 5? But I can appreciate woods golf. I know a lot of the pros appreciated woods golf. I think it's kind of funny where a majority, 80% of the tour this year seemed like it was just on bomber, pretty open courses, and then all of a sudden they just throw you into the Pro Tour Championships on what kind of seemed like arguably the tightest course, besides for maybe Northwoods Black. But no, ultimately, I actually did really like watching it. I like not having to watch a 500-foot flex shot every single hole. It is really cool to see pros show finesse in the woods, and I think players putting through trees and hitting these kind of almost Anheuser putts or big hyzer putts, flex putts, anything of that regards. We saw some incredible throw-ins from players at this tournament. I thought it was pretty awesome. Now, the course in and of itself, I liked watching Charlotte's or Hornets Nest more than I liked watching
Yes.
liked watching Nevin's.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
But ultimately, I did enjoy it, and I think that's because I'm very biased towards woods golf.
True. Evan, what are your thoughts?
That's kind of interesting. I think I like Nevin. I actually don't know.
Nevin.
I think it's Nevin.
Nevin. Okay,
Nevins.
it's too close
I think
to
it's
me.
Nevins.
So.
I think it is Nevins. It's
Oh,
Nevins. Like
oh my.
it's a park.
It's-
Nevin.
It's Nevin Park.
Oh,
with
Okay,
no S.
okay. So I'm gonna say Nevin. I actually think it's better than Hornet's Nest. I mean, they're obviously kind of similar. I liked hole 18 a lot. I think that was a makeshift hole for this, or it normally is there. I'm not sure, but I really liked that hole. It did play a little hard during the tournament, but you saw how Ricky shredded it in the last hole of regulation, and then the playoff just shows you that yeah, it's a lot more shreddable than people think when you're that good. And I did like that. I think as everyone else has kind of said, it is a little odd for the Pro Tour Championship, the final event of the year, the biggest spectacle, to have it be, wooded course where, 17 of the 18 holes are wooded and the final one is the one that's not. I think that's interesting. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I think we can work with it more. I think woods courses can totally be used in the future. And as Nick, you're saying, we need more of them. We really don't have a full wooded course on tour at all. And we have Northwood Black, which is fully wooded, but it's paired with Eureka or Sunset. We have Brewster Ridge is paired with Fox Run. Then we have some other tournaments like Idlewild, Waco, Maple Hill, who all have very wooded holes, but aren't 100% wooded. They have between like 4 to 8 more of open holes. So this course, I mean, being 17 at 18, that's good enough for me. I think that's totally great. I think we just need to work over time to make these a little bit more spectator friendly. So I think people are just going to have to get used to watching on one area. I mean, Maple Hill got very, very good at that this year, where there was like 6 holes that were a ton of fun just to camp out and watch. That's the future right there. And I don't think we need to be scared of woods courses because we can use that. It's just a matter of getting there. And I totally misspoke. Champions Cup's fully wooded, so there's one. So I totally missed that.
That's definitely the most wooded course out of all, in the sense of the woods.
Yeah, and it's honestly like it's pretty fairways. It's just in a wooded environment.
Yes.
So it's not really quite the same feel as like what everyone calls the Carolina Woods, even though it's pretty much the same geographic area as Augusta, Georgia. But yeah, I want to see, I think, an Elite Series stop in Charlotte that's not the Tour Championship. I think the Tour Championship should move around throughout the years. I don't think it should be held just in Charlotte. And Charlotte, of course, with how great disc golf there is there, the amount of players, the amount of courses, it deserves a tour stop. I know it has USDGC, but it deserves, I guess, a wooded stop. And so I would really love maybe the final playoff event before USDGC to be an Elite Series stop in Charlotte. Then we play USDGC and then we go somewhere nearby. Maybe I don't know exactly. That can be the Tour Championship stop. There's a lot of different ideas you could go with, but I want to see disc golf in Charlotte still, and I think the Tour Championship can be somewhere a little bit more favorable total to spectators. Kind of saying a lot of different points here, but I hope it all makes sense.
Yeah. Now I kind of want to bring this up really quick, but I actually talked to a few of the pros that played the Pro Tour Championships. A lot of them, you know, from what I've read or who I've talked to, they did enjoy the course. Some of them didn't care for it. And I think in the reason being it's, you know, not a course that we're used to, you know, that they're used to playing out on the road. And I think it does create a good mixture. I like to see more what a course is. I think it's more challenging, especially when it's just kind of thrown at you the way this one was. But what I did hear in the Pro Tour Championship, just from a couple players, the way that they do the format of the first day, you have a ton of people playing. The second day, it dims down. The third day, it dims down. And then the fourth and final day, there's only one card out there. And I had actually heard that Saturday, the day that there was, I think, 8 people or 12 people, I forget exactly how many there was, but I heard there was actually more spectators out on those days than on Sunday. And I think reason being is Sunday because there's only one specific card. So if your player that's playing the event gets knocked out, you don't fully have a reason to go back to it and watch someone else who maybe you're not rooting for. And so I'm curious to see how long this style of championship for the final event of the year, I'm curious to see what it will be like next year, if they're going to change things or if they're going to keep it as is.
Let's see if we can line up Jeff Spring.
I mean, that's something that...
Is he in the green room? That's what it sounds like right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seemed like, yeah, exactly. I think, you know...
No, we actually reached out to Jeff. He said he was tied up tonight, but he'd like to come on. So we'll try to get him on the next show or two to answer those questions. So Nevin's cool. I think the playoffs and all that stuff leading up to the championship, all that stuff we talked about, it's going to keep changing. That's how Jeff Spring, the Disc Golf Pro Tour is. They listen, they take feedback, they change. I think it will. Congratulations to Charlotte for hosting another great event there. A lot of work went into that and kind of in a last minute scenario. So shout out to them. Good show tonight, everybody. We made it to the end. I am absolutely exhausted. If you can't tell, I have a little congestion. Yeah. I was up all last night. My child was having some form of crying situation all night. And he's fine, but man, I am tired. And then I went to work today. And right before I started doing like a 4-hour training session, I don't know what got into me. I was experiencing a little bit of the head cold my son had. I took NyQuil right before I was training.
The drowsy medicine.
And I was like sitting there and I was like, oh no, this is extremely bad. Like I'm talking slow.
It actually works.
Yeah, it worked. So
yeah.
So anyways, we made it to this point. I'm traveling out to Wisconsin again. I've been doing that a few times. I'll be out there again, leaving in the morning. But I'll be back Friday, and everyone else has things they've got going on. But this was a good show, a random show, very random. This will go down in history of Nick and Matt for sure. Any closing thoughts from anybody, or you just want to wrap it up?
Go Buffs.
I'm excited for a very fun and casual off season.
Awesome.
Well, off season isn't really quite the off season because we got into the skins this weekend. We got a Silver Series in 2 weeks. We also have the New World one coming up soon. So a lot of exciting off season things still. But yes, it feels good.
You can't close it out, or you can't put on the music before we've actually done our closeout.
Go ahead, Nick.
Everybody, thank you for tuning in tonight. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on the video. Check us out on all your favorite podcast platforms. This was episode 111, presented by Cosmic Disc Golf. Tell someone you love them this week. Good luck to everyone playing. We'll catch you in the next one.
Ben, you're awesome. We're going to let this one ride. You don't do the outro today. I will. Ben, you're awesome. Evan, you're awesome. Nick, you're awesome. Peace out,
I'm
everybody.
not giving up on love, but I'm giving up on us. I'm not giving up on love, but I'm giving up on us. Her hair wavy like the ocean. Told me that she love me, I'm like, oh man. Why you gon' take that back? Why you gon' take my